Now, before I get to the big news, I want to take a minute. And I want to talk about ice cream. Ice cream is great. Ice cream is one of my favorite desserts. Personally, I love chocolate, and I love cookies and cream. Cookies and cream is actually my all-time favorite dessert. But I understand that for some of you, your favorite flavor is vanilla.
Someone once said that you can't go home again, but they lacked vision. And a temporal discombobulator.
Well chaps, it's finally happened. We're getting official vanilla from none other than Blizzard themselves. This is a pretty landmark moment. It means we're no longer going to be confined to dodgy private servers, no more corrupt admins skimming behind the scenes, and no more bullshit that comes with the private community. Like me, you were probably extremely happy when you found out that we were getting legitimate, sweet classic servers, and who would be better to make that announcement than Blizzard's very own J. Allen Brack, the same man who famously said the phrase, "You think you do, but you don't." I was over the moon when we found out, and it is truly amazing that we have come this far. I'm still buzzing myself. So to begin with, I think it's best to start off by talking about what we can expect. And this in itself is a very convoluted collection of expectations. Like me, I imagine you will want a classic vanilla server. We don't really want the simplification tools like looking for raid or the dungeon queue, and Blizzard have said that that will not be on the server, so we definitely know now that there will be no looking for raid or looking for dungeon queue. You're still going to have to form groups, and you're still going to have to go to the instances themselves. The question however start arising around the idea that Blizzard will be implementing various modern elements of the current version into their vanilla servers. Would players want to have the vanilla version of the game with updated graphics, for example? Is that something that you would personally enjoy if you could have the vanilla server, however it was updated with the modern graphics from the current game? Or would you prefer that early 2004 feel? Would they want to implement a more user-friendly modern UI? Would that in itself take away from the actual vanilla experience? Would that be a deal breaker for you, for example, if they used updated graphics or implemented an auto loot function? Blizzard have done a couple of interviews as well as confirming a few things that we're now going to take a look at and talk through. Firstly, let's think back to the original game. I used to play WoW on a beat up Windows 98 computer. Going into cities at peak time on the server was not an option for me. There were a lot of bugs, lags, and problems arising from the hardware available at the time. In regards to running the server, J. Allen Brack had this to say: "We would have to run Classic WoW and then Current WoW at the same time. Classic WoW and Current WoW really don't work the same way anymore. Classic WoW has all kinds of bugs and problems. It has all kinds of exploits and hacks that everyone knows about. And in Current WoW, we've done an excellent job of reducing all of those problems, and we didn't see how we could possibly run two MMOs like this. We think we have a way to run the classic servers on modern technical infrastructure. The infrastructure is how we spin up instances and continents, how the database works. It's those core fundamental pieces, and running two MMOs of that size is a daunting problem. But now we think we have a way to have the old WoW version work on the modern infrastructure and feel really good." They don't know when they intend to release the server. This is Blizzard in the classical sense. Keeping release dates secret is their standard approach, but it seems that this time they genuinely mean it. Brack has said the following: "What we're announcing is actually extremely limited. We're only saying that we're doing it, that we're committed to creating and releasing classic servers. It's a larger endeavour than people might imagine, but that we are committed to doing it and we're excited." While a release date has yet to be confirmed, Blizzard have said that they do have a team working on this as a project, with Allen Brack timing in that we're going to hire people specifically for this job, and we're going to staff it with people who are interested in bringing back classic WoW in the best, most authentic way, and that is how we'll be successful. I think this is extremely promising for people who want the classic vanilla experience. Brack says that they're committed to recreating an authentic vanilla World of Warcraft experience. One of the tenets of classic WoW is none of the cross-server realms and different server sharving options that we have available to us today. There's a lot of desire on part of the community that this is something that they do not want, which I think is very true. I agree with that statement. I feel like people like me, people who want the classic vanilla experience, don't want cross-realm functionality here. I want to be able to party with people and get to know people on my server. Even if that takes me longer to find a dungeon, I don't want to just run into a whole bunch of people I'm never going to meet again. I also think one of the really cool things that Alan Brack has brought to the table is basically that the community and development team that's behind the current version of World of Warcraft as it stands is not going to miss out by doing this. The fact that they're bringing more people on board to do the classic side of this, it means that the people playing the retail version aren't going to miss out. You know, no instances are going to skip development or anything like that. And I know that on the forums at least there was a lot of fighting going on the Blizzard forums where, if you know, people would complain if they were ever to do a classic development, then the current expansion would miss out because of those developers being assigned to something else. Blizzard have said again that they are not sure how players are going to currently pay for it. I imagine personally that this is not going to be free to play. I imagine we're either going to pay a extra subscription, whether that's going to be something that we can pay as a standalone subscription or whether we have to get retail on top of this. You know, this might be seen as sort of a perk or add-on that you could buy in the shop where, you know, you could have your subscription, pay maybe $5 more a month, you then get access to the classic WoW, or it will simply be made as an additional version to the current game. So you will have to sign up to the standard World of Warcraft platform, and then you will also have access to vanilla servers as well as the normal game. When asked in an interview how long they think it would take the turnaround to be on something like this, whether, you know, would it be 6 months or a year, unfortunately Brack has simply answered that this is a massive effort. This is a very, very significant effort. I would not expect it to be soon. We actually don't know when we're going to release it. I know that's a generic answer that we give to all of our Blizzard titles, but with this one we don't actually know how long it will take. Something else that I think is really interesting to point out here is that when Alan Brack was asked, are you expecting players to come back to Vanilla WoW and properly invest in that game, or, you know, do you think they're just going to take a look around for nostalgia's sake? Brack responded with both, I think. One of the things we do know is that by announcing this, we're in the classic WoW business forever. Once that starts, there's a commitment on our end. We're going to continue maintaining those servers for as long as there is a World of Warcraft. I think there will be people that will come and do the nostalgia trip. They will go to the Barrens and find Mancrick's wife, and then they're done. That's fine. Some amount of people, however, are going to create a new classic community, and that's what we'll be providing. And guys, that's so exciting for me. I cannot wait to dive into that community and be a part of it. I think we're finally going to see a much more prestigious and much more legitimate way for us to actually play classic WoW, and I'm so excited for that. I take my hat off to Blizzard. It's fantastic. Now, something that was really interesting as well when I was going through these various interviews, the Eurogamer group had asked Alan Brack, has Blizzard maintained a relationship with the people behind the unofficial legacy server? I know the Nostalrius guys visited Blizzard at one point. Now, as we all know, you know, playing on Astarius, playing on Elysium, all of the drama behind that, we are aware obviously that that died off. However, there's a couple of interesting points to Alan Brack's answer here. We've talked to Damon and Viper, the leads for that project, a handful of times since that visit, upon which Eurogamer then asked, do you see them being more heavily involved in WoW Classic? Alan Brack then responded with, we would welcome their involvement for sure. I think one of the challenges is that they are both French, and so there's a little bit of a visa concern, but we'd be open to it. They're very passionate and strong Blizzard fans, clearly. Now, I think this is really interesting that he said this, because you would have thought after they released their source code and made, you know, the game available again to the Elysium team, I think that would have probably burnt the bridges with Blizzard, but it doesn't seem to be the case in, you know, as far as Brack's concerned. So it could be really interesting for us down the line if the Nostalrius team actually do come on board with the classic side of World of Warcraft. Of course, that would be under the banner of Blizzard, but, you know, I think that would be really cool to actually see such passionate people getting behind the official version of the game. Now, moving on to more of a sort of speculation part of the video, if you like. I just sort of want to have a chat with you guys about a few things that are on my mind here and really just sort of see what you guys think, see whether this is a concern or whether I'm just being, well, stupid. Really, the thing that I'm quite interested in is obviously Blizzard have shareholders, and at the end of the day you've got to make your shareholders money. And one of the good ways that Blizzard do this is providing a shop where people can buy you know, max level characters, in-game cosmetics, pets, all the rest of that sort of thing. Now obviously for people who want pure classic vanilla like we do, the shop isn't necessarily a good thing, but obviously when you're Blizzard, yeah, lines get blurred in terms of what you can get away with. I just sort of want to see whether you guys think the shop is something to be concerned about. You know, do you think they're going to implement it where, you know, you could buy a max level 60? Because obviously if they do that, then that sort of takes away from the achievement of those people who legitimately grind to it. But then again, at the end of the day, they are a business, and if the server isn't turning over a profit, then you know, they have to shut it down. And you know, if you were to give me a choice between legitimate servers hosted by Blizzard at the cost of a shop making it available for people to purchase characters, I would still play on those servers hosted by Blizzard as opposed to a private server. That's not me saying that I want them to have a shop by any means, I'd rather they didn't, but I suspect at the end of the day, you know, they are a business and they're in this to make money. Now something that I'm quite interested in here is the idea that they're trying to pursue as vanilla-like as possible experience for people who play on these servers. And something that, you know, you want to sort of think about when you're doing that is bugs. So we can say, oh yeah, let's go ahead and put these servers up just like they were back in the day, but does that mean then that we're going to get all of the bugs that everybody's aware of? Brack has said, not to quote him word for word, that we have to consider the fact that all of these bugs that are around in vanilla aren't necessarily good for the community. I mean, you know, if we're going to have these servers and the bugs are purposefully left in, does that mean that everybody's just going to stack, you know, Wrecking Bomb Paladin? Does that mean that we're just going to get a huge amount of people exploiting known bugs in vanilla World of Warcraft? Because if that's the case, then wouldn't you want Blizzard to patch those? And if so, then, you know, we're effectively turning these servers into something that was not the original experience. The other thing I'm quite interested in as well is the PvP system. You know, is that going to be maintained up to date and in its original form? Are we going to be able to get warriors one-shotting clothies? I think they should stick to vanilla as best as they can, but then you're going to have three kinds of people coming into this server. You're going to have the people that are just sort of coming along for the nostalgia trip, tourists if you like, that are just going to hop in and play for, you know, maybe a week. You're going to get people then who are hardcore fans like me and probably you if you're watching this video, where we want a, you know, a classic vanilla-like experience, all of the classes etc. just as they were. You know, things like Tank Paladin just isn't viable, Arcane Mage only sees action in PvP, etc, etc. And then you're going to get people come in who have never played vanilla at all. They're not going to be used to taking a drink after you buff somebody. They're just going to be not understanding when it comes to how difficult vanilla is compared to retail. And I think it's going to cause a lot of people frustration. I think they're going to take to the forums, and my worry is that people at Blizzard are going to succumb to that. They're going to, you know, fall for that. They're going to then end up catering to these people, and we will get a watered down vanilla experience. Something else that would be really interesting to know as well is how are add-ons going to work. You know, I mean, obviously people can pick and choose their add-ons for vanilla World of Warcraft. Does that mean that the add-ons that we had on Elysium and Nostalrius and Kronos and all of these other private servers, are they going to work on Blizzard's vanilla? Or because, you know, now that they're using all of this new hardware to effectively replicate vanilla, does that mean that we're going to need to get new add-ons? I'm sure as time goes on, all of these different things are going to be answered in due course, but again guys, it's going to be really interesting to sort of see what you guys think. I'm really interested to see what other people are thinking now in terms of how Blizzard are going to do all of this. You know, it would be interesting to hear what you guys would do if you were Blizzard, how you would actually run this as a business and set up these servers, etc. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I'm so psyched to be playing on that server. You know, it's going to be absolutely fantastic leveling up again on a legitimate vanilla Blizzard server. I cannot wait to do that. Hopefully I'm going to see you guys on there. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.